Hello, my name is Niyama Jean. I was like, it was psych, but welcome to another World Joy Movement conversation. My name is Niyama Jean. I'm the founder of the World Joy Movement, and this is a movement here that is really about bringing together people to champion and shape a truly joyful world. True joy means different things to different people. And in our space, where we hold, one of the things that we hold joy to be is not just happiness, not just the emotion of happiness, but it's actually the state or energy of being in joy. What that might mean is that you might see tears come out in our conversation. You might feel anger come out in our conversation. And yet we can still experience the joy of bitterness, the joy of isolation. We can be in all of those different emotions here in this conversation. We gather on a regular basis to engage in conversations with one another as individuals, as people, and as leaders in our life and as leaders in the spheres of influence that we have. And one of the key elements of when we come together in the World Joy Movement, the element that shines most brightly is that we are actively modeling the world that we would want to see in the future. We're actively modeling the world that we want to see in the future. So the way that we connect with each other, the way that we interact with each other, we're actually able to bypass most of the common unspoken rules and etiquette of how we should be, and instead we adopt the way that we really want to be with each other. We let down anything about having to find out about, like, do I trust someone or not, and instead just practice being in trust with people. Practice being, do I, like, wondering, do I put on a mask, or who should I be in this space? And instead just practice being ourselves in this space. And one of the things that you'll find here in every one of our conversation is this: the content is always secondary to the context. The content is always secondary to the context. So what that means here is that we're going to be engaging in a conversation around a specific topic. Today, we're talking about the day everything changed, and we're sharing our stories and journeys of awakening, that specific moment of when the world that we saw completely, the way that we saw the world completely shifted, right? But while we're having that conversation, I'm going to invite you to also pay attention to how we are having the conversation. What are the questions that we are bringing to the table that makes people feel more included, that makes them feel safer? What is our body language through even just the dimensions of this Zoom window that lets people know that we're really here and that we're truly present? Pay attention to the context. Pay attention to why a question comes up in the way that it does. Pay attention to yourself as you are experiencing this and also watching this to see what moves you. And then ask yourself the deeper question of not just what moved me, but why did that move me? If we can get into the space of giving ourselves a chance to understand the underlying principles behind how we really connect, and no, not just connect, how we relate and interrelate with each other, we can show up in the world in a place that embodies more belonging for ourselves as individuals, so that we can belong with other people anywhere we go. And that, to me, is a truly joyful thing, to simply be able to be in the world and have that be enough and everything. So we'll play here today. We get a chance to explore a conversation on the day everything changed. These are stories of awakening. Now, and for today's conversation, we are using an open forum structure. The open forum structure is a structure where we actually share the mic and give everyone an opportunity to respond with a story that is in alignment with the theme of the day. Now, there are a couple things in here that are important. One, it's a response, right? So we're giving people a chance to not just react, but to actually take some time, take a breath, and choose how they want to respond in and around that theme. Now, it might be a response to something that occurred earlier, what someone else had said. The thing that we choose to do in this space, though, is that we choose to own our stories as ourselves. So one of the things that I invite you to take into consideration is that we will not be in this space responding back to one another or building off one another or saying like, oh, in addition to, or my story is very similar. We'll create some space for that after we do our shares, if we have time for that in the space of the open forum. But this is an opportunity to simply allow the share to be shared into the space and to let people both witness you and experience their own transformation or go on their own journey as a result of the story that. It's the World Joy Movement. Yeah. What was your greatest insight from this conversation? And if you want to come and be a part of a conversation like this live, it's really simple. Just go to beworldjoy.com and come introduce yourself and let's take the conversation to the next level because you're there now. All right, let's play.